if it's a question or a verdict. You know, Karen going up and kissing her father, this seems like this might be it.
Let's see if we have Matt Johnson. I saw him asking Karen Reed a question, and her lips moved, but I don't think we had the audio, so let's go to him and see if he can tell us what she did say, because Matt, she always seems to answer her questions.
Yeah, well, we've covered this trial since the very beginning, and I asked Karen Reed, who is walking notably with her father, and she was ready for a verdict, and she said, always.
Question or a verdict, whether or not Karen Reed will be convicted for the death of John O'Keefe, convicted on the crimes. And I did pull up Westlaw, so I'll, this is like what I used to use in law school, so I will pull up the actual statute so we can read as well if it's necessary, but for right now, we're just going to stay with coverage right here. So we'll see, guys, but they have been in deliberation for 19 hours. Last year, they were in deliberation for 3 days. Today is technically the 4th day, but it is the 3rd full day that they have been deliberating. So this is a huge moment. It could be it based off of what we saw last year. Last year, they had way more witnesses. Over 60 this year, they've only had 36, and Hank is crazy, and we don't know what he's talking about half the time. You see all these like cars passing by. I do think that some of these businesses are driving by on purpose to get to get some exposure. Okay, get some eyes on it. You want a landscaping company? Oh, there's the O'Keefe family. There's John's family. The father is there today. Peggy O'Keefe. Everybody. Okay, they're walking in right now. So we see the O'Keefe family walking in. Look at all these businesses. Look at the tow truck man. All of that. All right, so they are walking on in, and it could be by design. John's dad is there, and he doesn't come to court every single day. It's 2:21, 6 minutes if we want to get it 2:27. But yeah, there's a better shot of the O'Keefe family. There's Brendan, the best friend with the darker suit jacket. He's been on the documentaries. I will continue to look to see if we have confirmation that it is the actual verdict. Okay, 6 minutes ago, Turner Boyd says the Reed team was told to come back by clerk Jim McDermott. When the jury has a question, they're always told this. They were not told that there was a jury question. Oh, Chad, this is it. This could be it. It's looking like it's it. So, all the sources say they don't have questions. I'll continue to look. We'll get another update, do another round. Let's go to Teddy. Ted has not posted, so nothing from Ted Daniel. Going back to Christina. Nothing new from Christina. And coming to Sue. Who I did 45 seconds ago, she says court is not in session yet. 1 minute ago, a court officer walked by me with a medium-sized envelope with the back fastened closed. Oh, it's going down, guys. Sources are confirming that it is now the verdict. Get ready. Let me go get a water. I'll be right back. Oh, it's... Look at the outside of that courthouse. It's pink. It is a pink courthouse. Wow. Wow. It's just crazy to look at from this angle. Do y'all remember some of the gun leads we've seen recently? A$AP Rocky practically jumped on Rihanna. Alright, I appreciate y'all. During the luncheon break, I received word from a court officer that the jury had knocked on the door, indicating that they had a verdict. But before I could even summons everybody into court, shortly thereafter, they knocked again and said they didn't have a verdict. So I asked the court officer to tell them to put that verdict slip in an envelope and seal it, and to give it to us. Paul, do you have it? And see this, it's been sealed. We're going to seal it in the legal sense. So this is sealed. No one will have access to it. It will be preserved and made part of this record. Alright, I appreciate y'all getting back here. During the luncheon break, I received word from a court officer that the jury had knocked on the door apart from everything else. So it's marked for ID with the word jury. So we do not have a verdict because, as we all know, there is no verdict until it is announced and recorded in open court. So we are still awaiting a verdict. Because it took a while to pull this together, I would ask that everybody remain in the building until the end of the day. So we'll see everybody later.
Well, I have to say...
Okay, no, I don't want to hear you. Quiet. Shut up. Let's hear that again. She opened the envelope? I'm going to see it again. It's not... So we do not have a verdict because, as we all know, there is no verdict until it is announced and recorded in open court. So we are still awaiting a verdict. I asked the court officer to tell them to put that verdict slip in an envelope and seal it, and to give it to us. Paul, do you have it? So why did they knock in the first place? Okay, so that's what's happening. So I don't know why. You gotta be kidding me. So they come to the door and they go, we have a verdict. A few minutes later. No, we don't.
So I changed their mind.
It's 2:27 right now. Okay, let's continue so we make sure that we all saw that correctly. I haven't seen this, it's been sealed. I'm now going to seal it in the legal sense. So this is sealed, no one will have access to it. It will be preserved and made part of this record. I'm going to ask it to be marked for identification with the word jury, Chrissy, just to keep it separate and apart from everything else. So it's marked for ID with the word jury. So we do not have a verdict because, as we all know, there is no verdict until it is announced and recorded in open court. So we are still awaiting a verdict. Because it took a while to pull this together, I would ask that everybody remain in the building until the end of the day. So we'll see everybody later.
I have to say...
I don't want to hear these people right now. But like... What is that? mind games. Is it Bev? Is it the jury? I mean, why would they knock and say, we have a verdict, and then a few minutes later, actually we don't. What are y'all doing? You playing with people's emotions. Look at all these people outside. And the people are outside.
Over, they say we have a verdict.
So it is
informed of it, but it's like in between the time that Judge Cannone is informed of this, there's another knock saying there is no verdict. Yet there's a verdict form in that piece, in that envelope.
And there's enough time that has elapsed that all of the parties have gathered. Karen Reed's scene is 10 minutes out. So that means it wasn't an immediate thing. Perhaps they were called again. But I'm understanding that Vinnie Paulton is ready out on the ground. Let's go to him live. Vinnie, what do you think? Oh, the tie says it all.
Do we have a verdict?
You can't tie it yet.
We have a verdict, we don't have a verdict. We got a verdict, we don't have a verdict. Is there a verdict, is there not a verdict? I don't know, so I'm just standing by like this. This is, again, unusual. The only time something like this happened, even close to this, was in the Johnny Depp trial, when they had a verdict, sent out the verdict note, but they hadn't filled out the sheets properly, and they had to send them back. This might be something different than that, though, because if the jury is knocking and saying we have a verdict, and then knocking and saying we don't have a verdict, something's going on in that jury room. That's all that tells me. Something's going on. Somebody goes, wait a minute. So let's see. What is sealed in the envelope? Yeah, open the envelope. Let's find out. I don't understand this. This is extremely unusual. Even though we don't know what the verdict is, all of a sudden now there's another issue with this case, with this jury. We do this all the time at Court TV. It's not that complicated. It's just not that complicated. But this case, this trial, these verdicts or lack of verdicts have become extremely complicated and convoluted. I don't understand it, but hopefully the judge and the attorneys can get to the bottom of what exactly is happening.
There should absolutely be a case study on this case in terms of how to deal with jurors, how to communicate with jurors. Do we think it could be a note? If the jury put in a note, we have reached a verdict, sent that to the court, and then that gets sealed because we don't want the indication on the record that there was a verdict if there was not one. Ted, what do you think? Do you think it perhaps could be that?
We don't know for sure that what's in that envelope is verdict by any stretch. It likely is a note. And then it's the game of telephone between the bailiff. Was it miscommunicated or misinterpreted? I think that there's a backstory here that hopefully will be illuminated very soon for the parties. What do you do if now you're one of the Karen Reed, the O'Keefe family? This is bizarre.
Do you leave the courthouse at this point?
Well, it's Cannone, it's all melodies.
Right. Vinny, are people there on the ground? Did they hear a verdict and have a reaction thinking there was one, or was it pretty quick that they learned?
Oh, absolutely. No, absolutely. Absolutely. Take a look at the crowd. Everyone's confused right now. They're as confused as the rest of us. Everybody here heard verdict. There was a loudspeaker that was being played, and then all of a sudden we heard we don't have a verdict. I've never heard that before. We have a verdict, we don't have a verdict. I don't know what it means, they don't know what it means, but they're all glued to their phones trying to get the latest information from inside that courtroom. And, just to add another layer of intensity and anticipation to all of this, but sprinkle a whole bunch of confusion as well. It's unusual. It's really unusual what is happening at this moment. And I hope that the jury communicates what's happening. To me, that's the key. It's the communication between the jury and the court. Communication was the problem first time around, and now it looks like there's more communication issues. A lot of jurisdictions, like I've been saying, sometimes the judge will just call the jury into the courtroom on the record and say, hey, what's going on? Do you have a verdict? Do you not have a verdict? In Massachusetts, they don't like that sort of back and forth. They don't want to interfere at all. So that becomes a hurdle now in trying to understand what exactly happened inside that jury room and how you go from verdict in one moment to just a few moments later to no verdict. I think it even caught the judge off guard by the way she was describing what had happened. So everyone out here, there was that surge of this is the moment until it wasn't.
Here we are. Welcome to DEDHAM.
They were right in the sense that this was a moment. It was almost the moment that everyone is waiting for. And I think you highlight something great, Vinny, that the communication, the form of communication, is pretty antiquated. We're talking about notes, handwritten notes that have to go, and there can be no verbal communication during this time, and that can add challenges in itself. I understand that Matt Johnson may be available. Let's see if we can go out to him, see what he is seeing from his vantage point. Matt Johnson, your reaction to us getting these double knocks from the jury?
The most unpredictable trial of the century. I mean, this doesn't help with the call from this community for transparency and light. There's just going to be more questions, and all of these supporters that believe in corruption and that there was a cover-up here are looking very confused at this point in time. There's something happening here at the courthouse in front of me because all of the police officers are still talking amongst each other. They're pointing to things on the backside of the courthouse. We know that all parties have been asked to remain present here on the property as this deliberating jury figures out what they're going to do. I mean, to knock on the door and say that they have a verdict, and then to knock again and say that they don't, I think that now some people are wondering if a jury member had cold feet, if they changed their initial vote. There's a lot of confusion out here on the courthouse steps, but we're not seeing Reed's vehicles leave like we normally do, and there's a lot of movement out here in front, including from a lot of law enforcement that are here near the steps, a lot of media on the move too. Just a lot of silence and a lot of confusion, to be honest with you.
I want to bring in Ted, who's here with me in studio. Ted, do you think that this could mean, even if we do have a verdict, all the way up until polling the jury, after a verdict, after everything's entered, that we could still see some problems? I mean, we'll all be leaning in for the polling of the jury, which we usually kind of sit back for and ignore, but...
Yeah, this is just, you think about all the different scenarios. Is there an unwilling juror who then changed his or her mind after that initial note was passed along that we did have a verdict? Was it the foreign person going, oops, I mean, we didn't? Some communication issue within the jury room? Was the communication issue between the jury foreman and his bailiff? What's in the envelope? Is it one note or two notes? Is it a verdict form? A lot of questions, and you wonder if the parties are going to demand to be heard at some point here as time goes by and everybody's just sitting idly.
Talking about the time that's passing, Matt Johnson, do you know Judge Cannone is going to extend the day? I know she has been a stickler about ending the day early, 4 o'clock. Yesterday it was 3:50. With the weirdness of this situation, do you think there's a chance she will extend the day? Let this go into the late afternoon or evening? Because it seems like they're certainly on the precipice of a decision.
Yeah, I think 100% there is a chance that she will extend the day if we don't get a verdict within the next couple hours. She told all parties be present because what happens is at the end of the day,
listening to headphones and then you're
house to keep security on present. But we're in like a Friday verdict type of scenario because you have tomorrow being a dark day because of the holiday Juneteenth. So that may move things along too, and we could see this courthouse stay open a little bit later than normal.
It better be. Come on. We gotta get to the bottom of this thing, right?
sometimes rules are rules, and it feels like there are days that she should have let them go longer, pushed them to go a little longer, especially yesterday.
I think yesterday they wanted to leave. They sent the note that they'd had enough, and they were sent on their way, but what's going on in that courtroom? This is insane.
And let's see, do we still have Vinny available? Because I do want to ask him about what could happen to a holdout juror. Vinny, if there's a juror that is yanking everyone back and saying, I changed my mind, I don't want to come to a decision, and they have to then retract this verdict, what can happen? What are some of the options? Because we have seen situations where some jurors refuse to deliberate.
Right. If you refuse to deliberate, the rest of the jurors can send a note out and there can be an inquiry. And if you're not participating in it, you can be taken out of the jury. It's an extreme measure. We've seen it in high-profile cases. Scott Peterson, a juror, was removed. I think it was a foreperson. It was a mutiny. But let's not go there quite yet. Like, it's always, in Massachusetts, it's all about the verdict form, right? Was the verdict form signed and filled out? I don't know. If the verdict form is signed and filled out, that's supposed to be the verdict in Massachusetts. That's why counts 1 and 3 couldn't be dismissed last time because they didn't fill out the paperwork. Could this be the inverse, where they filled out the paperwork and now we're saying we don't have a unanimous verdict? How do they deal with that? Last time it was the paperwork that won. Will the paperwork win this time? It's strange, but it's a possibility, right? You fill everything out, knock on the door. So you knock on the door before you fill out the paperwork? I wouldn't if I was the foreperson. I would make sure, all right, we've got it, we've got the votes, we fill out the paperwork. Massachusetts, all about the verdict slips. We fill it out, we sign it, da-da-da. Put it, knock on the door, give it to the bailiff, and then we knock again. Wait, give us back the papers. Is it too late? Well, you're not The other way around, it was too late. At the very end, while Judge Cannone was talking about this, she said, we have a verdict, we don't have a verdict, but then she says, as we all know, and it's an auto verdict until it's published. There is a verdict form in that manila envelope, and she's saying it's not official.
Not on the record.
Yes.
In front of everyone.
Wow.
So they can pull it back. I am looking back at the notes from our producer inside of the courtroom, and she did say that the form was handed to the deputy and will be sealed.
Okay. I'm hearing everyone in the street is saying verdict is in, guys.
Is it a new, or is this what was
The word on the
what was before?
no, this is new.
Okay.
This is what they're saying. It's what they're saying. I don't know if it's true.
We're going to take a break so you can confirm it, and we
It's
will
the
take
word on the street, that's all.
Okay, we understand, not confirmed, but there are rumors swirling that we have potentially a verdict. We'll work on getting that confirmed. Let's take a break. Don't go anywhere. This is what you don't want to miss. We'll be back in just a moment here on Court TV.
So that
Okay, this is much better. We're going to do law and crime. And let me just make sure that it is unmuted. It is audio booster. It's on the verdict clock. It's still ticking over here though. Law and crime does, we are on it. Look at what it says. Look at the headline says. It says, jurors still deliberating after false alarm verdict. But TV is saying that the verdict is in. Let me just check with the other reporters to see if we have confirmation of that. Sue was pretty quick, so I'm going to go to her first.
So as you can see, the jury knocked on the door, said, yo, we ready, we got a verdict. Then they knocked back on that motherfucker and said, nah. But the other newscasts did say some things that make sense, like, yo, if it's already written, what does that mean? I mean, the judge has it in the envelope, so we definitely gonna see what's going on. If you hit that like, share, subscribe.
Coming in any moment now. Sue, Ted, Turtle Boy. Christina's a little slow today. She's usually on it too. Okay, yes, she's also confirmed. A verdict has officially been reached in the Karen retrial. We just got word at 2:36 p.m. 1 minute ago. Plan for 10 to 20 minutes before a verdict is read in open court. Watch live here. I've been in the courtroom. 10 to 20 minutes. TV says, hold on. It says, let me pull over. Let me pull over. What do you guys think it's going to be? And let me look at our poll. Let's, I'm going to give you a new poll. Is today the day?
So
80% of
now it seems to be that they're saying there is a verdict, so we're about to see, we're about to find out what's going on. Peabody and commercials. I mean, if I was in the jury, I would definitely be voting not guilty, but, that's just my opinion.
They want to be sure, they want to be clear about the decision that is going to be made, because this is someone's life, livelihood, well-being. So you have to appreciate that the jury wants to be crystal clear and understand every word and the ramifications of the decision that they're going to make. The high-stakes case, this is a very high-stakes case. I mean, if you're talking about a Boston police officer who has died, and his family who believes that, she is responsible for that, and it's seeking justice. And then you have Karen Reed and her team believing that, that she was the victim of a corrupt investigation, and that she's been framed for something that she did not do. So, and, she's got her life on the line too, her freedom on the line. So there's a lot in this case, and with excellent lawyers. I mean, the lawyers in this case really were, some of the best lawyering that you will see. So, excellent lawyers, and the solutions were amazing. After you heard one, you were completely persuaded by them, then you heard the other one, and you were persuaded by that, and, amazing work on both sides. So, it's not like the effort wasn't put in by both sides, and the jury, as you said. So, there's no shortage of effort in this case to try to come to what is hopefully, a just verdict.
And if there's evidence that every single fact of this case was debated, how about this? Yesterday they sort of led to gave us a hint that they were caught up on the charge of whether or not she was operating under the influence. Was she drunk driving? And that's one thing that Karen Reed said on tape during the clips that were played in court, was that she was drinking. She never said that I was intoxicated, but she said she was drinking, and yet the jury couldn't even come together on that, because there was questions about when the blood alcohol test was taken, and whether or not they should be going by 12:45 when the alleged collision happened, or whether they should go by 5 a.m. Every little tiny fact of this case, they went back and forth on.
I think it's so interesting that you mentioned the clips, because that was one of their questions yesterday. They wanted to know how much of those video clips really weigh in, right? Whether you're in it and you're inundated because we're in news, we see it a lot, or there are people talking about the specials that have been created. I just think that this jury has had so much to really have to remember that they have to base this on the information and evidence and facts they've been given, and not all of the things that they've been surrounded by. But for the jurors to also, asked yesterday, well, what about all these clips that have been circulating? What about all these interviews, these media interviews? For someone like Verdit, she's been on a little bit of a media tour. How much are we supposed to weigh that into our decisions, and having the judge say that those videos are, in fact, evidence? And it's unusual to see a defendant in a criminal case, especially a serious criminal case, talk so much. To give interviews and to participate in documentaries and talk outside of court every day. Part of the strategy in that case is as the judge began trying to hit as lawyers said that she's preferring the defense. And so she had nominated the defense, and she was. Troya Harris with the 5 says, today is my husband's birthday. Not guilty would be the best gift for me, for him. Aw, that would be really sweet. That'd be really sweet. Happy birthday to Troya's husband. Happy birthday, man. Enjoy it. Hopefully we have good news for everybody today. 2:47 Eastern Standard Time. Loves curly hair with $2 says the FBI should be guarding that envelope. Keep it away from there. Hopefully it wasn't, something that she did or anything like that. But it sounds like these people have come to a final decision. Tom with the $10 super chat for the watch. No comment, just for the watch. I appreciate that, Tom, and thank you for being so invested in Chatterhood and watching this case with us. It's been so fantastic. Shout out to Trucker T with the 2 says, shit, I'm sorry, I forget that y'all have kids. Earmuffs, children. Usually I've been trying to cut back on the swearing too, just because my mom watches, and she actually might be watching right now. Hi, Mom! 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 waiting. I can't either. I cannot either. The anticipation. Petty Pendergrass, a chat fan favorite, gifted 5 memberships. You received one from Petty, so thank you. Shout out to Karen down in Australia. What time is it there? What time is it? Let's see. Current time in Sydney. It's 4:49 a.m. and all you Aussies are up watching. Karen is watching in Australia at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's a very early day for you. Very early day, Karen Savannah. Shout out to the exception with the 2 says, let Yuri read the verdict. With feeling. Oof. Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Y'all saying hi to my mom. 8 p.m. there in the UK. Left Coast Samana with the 26th. Thank you, AV and Chatter, for this trial coverage was a blessing. AV sending you aloha as always. Thank you so much. Left Coast Samana. They've shut down the street per Turtle Boy. Wow. Wow. You guys are saying hi to my mom. I don't even know if she's here, but she could be. She usually watches me, but she ninja watches. My mom ninja watches me. I never know when she's watched it. She won't say nothing. She'll just watch. And then I'll talk to my sister, and she's just like, yeah, Mom was watching you. She said, you cussed a lot on Friday. I'm like, damn. So everybody's saying hi to her. Critical Conversations, HR. Popped in, says praying Karen Reed found not guilty on all 3, across the board. Let us see what the delay is. Christina said 10 to 20 minutes. But Turtle Boy is calling it as he sees it, so let me come to him. As of 2 minutes ago, Turtle Boy says Alan Jackson is pacing around by himself. His cheeks are puffing in and out. He's in deep thought. Never seen him like this. And Miss Reed and her family are waiting elsewhere off-site from the courthouse. So it takes a little bit of time to notify the parties, get everybody back in. Sometimes that takes 20 to 40 minutes depending on where everybody is. So I think by the time we actually saw the first information from the court relative to this, knocking of the door and then knocking of the door again, we were probably a good 45 minutes or so out from when she originally received that information. And then we've had maybe 10 or 15 minutes. So it sounds like probably they had an hour or so after they came to their original decision, reevaluated, maybe had some, worked out some very minor last minute, sort of questions and decided that everybody was on the same page. So we probably had an hour or so between the 2. And Ms. Loftus, thank you. We do want to bring in Mr. Jack Liu. He is a retired judge, and we want to talk to him because as I've been listening to everything from Cheryl, from David, from Ms. Loftus, Penny, Rex, I think another thought that I have is, what kind of ramifications does this have for other court cases down the line? Just everything we've seen play out, the second trial, the media interviews. Mr. Liu, thank you for joining us.
Great, happy to be here. Good afternoon.
Definitely. Can you talk to us about not only, so this is the retrial, this is Karen Reed's second trial. Talk to us about the way that this retrial has played out. I'm curious about what kind of ramifications this could have for future cases down the line.
The verdicts could have ramifications if the defendant court wins with no major crime convictions. Then it supports the idea that a kitchen sink defense is a good idea, and it also supports the idea that a social media fueled, click fee fueled campaign is a good idea, and possibly that a program of witness intimidation, attempted witness intimidation is a good idea. If the defendant loses, though, in the sense of getting convicted of most of any of the upper charges, then it suggests the opposite. A kitchen sink defense is not a good idea, and a social media fueled, click fee fueled witness intimidation program is not a good idea. And to answer the obvious question, Anything except a win for the defendant is guilty of OUI or not guilty of all the other charges. A loss for the defendant is guilty of anything else.
Judge Lewis, this is David Wade. Quick question for you, and by the way, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate that. I wish I could have seen your face when Judge Cannone said that they had a verdict and then they didn't have a verdict. Have you ever, in all your years as a judge, ever heard anything like that?
I've never seen that. In my 21 years on the bench in Massachusetts as a jury trial judge, I've never even heard of it in court legend. Court legend does contain the following, that the jury returns a verdict in open court. They poll the jurors, and a juror says, no, I do not affirm that verdict. That does occur in court legend and probably in reality. But this, what has happened today, I've never even heard of it in court legend. This case is unbelievable. And if you had seen my face, you would have seen my jaw drop. Instead of 2 chins, I had 3 chins. I was amazed.
I wish we had that. I asked the control room if we were recording on your Zoom feed at the time.
And I think, what makes this all so relatable is that Judge Liu's response was all of our response. We're sitting here, we're listening, and we're like, all right, we're there. And she's like, wait, not quite, because they came back and said, no, actually, we don't. We were all shocked. We were all like, wait a minute, can this be happening right now?
Judge, can I ask you a quick question to follow up to what you said? Because you used the phrase kitchen sink defense, right? And all of our indications at this point, at least all of the hints at this point, led to the idea that the jury was really stuck on the manslaughter charge. And this manslaughter charge, part of the confusion is there are all these subcharges, including operating under the influence. That was the defense's idea. Originally, the thought process was it was just going to say manslaughter, guilty or not guilty, right? That was the defense that said, no, add all these other little charges as well.
Yeah, so I don't know if I'm exactly answering your question, but if it's a guilty of OUI, operating under the influence only, then the suggestion could be that they would have been better off going with the defense kind of announced in court by David Yannetti years ago that this was a tragic mistake and considerable less cost and considerable less money costs and considerable less social costs, because that's an attainable result with this is a terrible, horrible tragedy defense, which is what Mr. Yannetti said way at the beginning. Instead of tearing everybody apart by this kitchen sink defense. But we may just see in a moment that I don't know what I'm talking about, or at least I don't have a crystal ball, and the defense has won.
Judge, it's Charles Fiandata. Thank you again for being with us today. One of the things I know you were talking about with the kitchen sink, I think you were trying to suggest that, they threw everything at this. This was a police conspiracy. She was being framed. There were others that were responsible potentially for this, and she was not the one who caused the death. Is that kind of what you mean by the kitchen sink?
Yeah, the kitchen sink defense is well known to criminal defense lawyers. Decades ago, I'm afraid, I used it many times. And it goes like you keep your powder dry and use every possible defense. At the beginning of closing argument, you state what your defense is. It may be the only defense left, the only credible defense left. The thing they did differently in this case is Mr. Jackson announced the kitchen sink defense in his opening statement. It was a strategic error, in my opinion, but they may still win. But the kitchen sink defenses, we have multiple defenses, and some of them even conflict with each other. The example that would express it best is, I did not punch that man, and if I did, it was in self-defense. And I wasn't even there. That's a kitchen sink defense. But when you express all of those options in the opening, that's considered to be a mistake. Usually you keep your powder dry and be quiet about specifics.
So if you were betting at this point, what would you think the jury came back with based on what we've seen for questions the past couple of days here?
Oh, I don't know if I'm willing to bet. I would say after the questions about OUI, it sounded like an OUI only conviction, a big win for the defense. Now I'm thinking more than, I'm willing to say only for public education that I'm thinking it's more than an OUI conviction, which is a loss for misreading.
Interesting. So you think it's, I'm sorry, just to reiterate that, you think it's more than an OUI case?
Why would they take up all of today and part of yesterday if it was going to be an OUI only conviction, if that was what was going to happen? The problem is this is truly a black box. People read crazy things on the internet about what's going on in the jury room. Nobody has a clue. It's a black box. We're all just wondering. We can get some indications, but we might as well be guessing who the Pope is going to be based on the smoke coming out of the Sistine Chapel.
So, Judge, if it turns out that she is only found guilty on that OUI charge, I know the family, obviously, of Johnny Keith would be very disappointed, but, potential penalty in that case, does the impact on any of these other charges, would that play into anything that would happen in terms of sentences?
No, the other charges will, I can say with a lot of confidence. I can't guarantee it, but I'm 99.9% sure that if she's found guilty of operating under the influence only, nothing else, they will, the judge will sentence her to the so-called 24D program.
Ever since. Mr. Foreman, on docket number 2282CR117001, murder in the second degree, what say you? Is the defendant defied guilty or not guilty? Not guilty. So say you, Mr. Foreman? So say you? No, do you agree? Yes. Do all of you agree? Thank you. 002, what say you? Is the defendant defied not guilty or guilty? Not guilty. Is not guilty or guilty of that charge or the lesser included charge? Specifically number 5, operating under the influence of liquor, or operating a motor vehicle with a blood alcohol level of 0.08 or greater. Correct? So say you, Mr. Bowman? So say you all? 002, what say is the defendant at the bar, leaving the scene after accident resulting in death, the defendant not guilty or guilty? So say you, Mr. Bowman? So say you all? Jurors, how can you verdict is the court records you upon your oath say the defendant on 001 is not guilty, on 002 is guilty of operating under the influence of liquor, and 003 not guilty. Thank you.
Alright, jurors, everybody please be seated. Jurors, who's waiting for your service, is going to send you back to services if you need. I'd like to do that with a quick talk to them a little bit afterwards. Thank you very much. All rise. Listen, can I have your attention? As a part of that statute, I must inform you that the records regarding the charges that you have been found not guilty will be sealed by the Commissioner of Probation by the court unless you notify the Commissioner of Probation in writing within 10 days that you do not want these records sealed. To request that these records not be sealed, you may use the Request Not to Seal form, which is posted on the trial court's website on mass.gov.
I cannot accept the form here in court unless submitted to the Commissioner of Probation at the address provided on the form. Please be aware that if the records regarding the charges which you have been found not guilty are sealed, you will be unable to access the sealed record of the not guilty dispositions or any other records regarding those charges. If you want copies of any documents regarding those charges before the records are sealed, you should request copies from the court within 10 days. Do you understand? Thank you.
Alright, so we need a date for sentencing. Can we do it next week? Okay. Okay. UI, which means that she is only found guilty of driving under the influence of alcohol. That is it. I mean, this is a lot. Hank Brennan, fucking right, so Mr. Nettie, you're ready for judge, and he is ready for sentencing. Mr. Rose, right, Conrad's recommendation.
Now, the Commonwealth moves to sentencing. We recommend probation.
Alright, so Mr. Nettie, you ready to go first? So the standard that everybody else gets on the first round is Conrad's recommendation. So I'm happy to do it. Alright, thank you all.
1 year probation on docket number 002, the less included offense of operating under the influence. 1 year probation. The 24D code in this.
Goodbye.
For that murder, second degree, not guilty for manslaughter, but under the subcharge of OUI, she was found guilty. I have never, ever, Cheryl, seen when a verdict is read that you could hear supporters all the way outside of the building.
Oh, it was very, very loud. You could hear them all screaming, going far.
So do you have it? Can we only found guilty of OUI? But she'll get probation for, something like that, a real light, and, she was found not guilty on all serious charges. If you're a supporter of the channel, thank you. Hit that like, share, subscribe, hit the bell so you can get notifications every time I drop one of these videos. And your view and your time and energy is much appreciated. Thank you very much, and I am out of here, folks.